Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love sharing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. Day three, you guys, of Paint Big. This is what I have going on right now. This is a 24 by 36 canvas. Do I expect you to paint on a 24 by 36 canvas? No, I do not. Honestly, I had to put my supply list up there because I meant to paint this on like a normal canvas, a 9 by 12 or 11 by 14, but alas, the time got away from me. But anyway, so we are back. Day one was Wednesday at 10 a.m. You can catch the replay. We did the background. Very simple background, three colors. Well, not some people don't count black as white, black and white. I do sometimes I don't. So it was a combo of black, white, and a baby blue. Then last night at 7 p.m., we did the umbrella. And I showed you how you can either use the tracer, because I provided tracer and the supply list. The link is above. Or I used the lid to this hat box, but we only wanted the curve for the middle. See, it doesn't line up anymore. Around, depending on the size of your canvas, you can use a saucer, a dish, a paper plate, a flower pot, whatever it is. You just need a round to start for the middle bottom of the umbrella, and then you go out from there. I etched it on with, here I am. I etched it on with chalk, and then tomorrow or later, when I'm completely done, I will get a damp paper towel and I will wipe off all my chalk marks that haven't been cleaned up or wiped off during painting. Okay, so now today we are going to get started on the fun, on the colors, on the flowers. Bing! Spring is springing. Spring has sprung. No, spring has definitely not sprung. It's pretty cold. I'm looking at snow right now. I have a big window. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. The sun is shining. I love that. But I am looking at a little bit of snow and it is pretty chilly. So, anyway, we are going to get started. I have out to start with some dark purple, some red, and you can't see it, but white. Okay? And we are going to start with our big statement flowers, which you can't. Let me see if I can take this down. I can. We're going to start with the roses. Can you see the 4 big roses on that? Okay, we're going to start with those. Let me put this back. All right, see if that stays. Oh, that's paint. Of course, I haven't even started painting yet. I have paint on my hand. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, good morning. So I have out red, purple, and white. I should have like a stool here so I can put my supplies on it. But that's okay. You know what I am going to do? I'm going to move this closer. This way. Does that work? I think it does. Okay. So we are going to start. I am using a round. I paint with a flat brush 95% of the time. I'm going to use a round because to start with the roses, it's easier to use a round. I'm going to wet it a little bit, so I'm wetting it so my fibers come together. If you wet your brush and you're still fighting with it because it still wants to look wonky like this, or it's still going to have fibers springing out after you wet it like this, that brush is no good, and a normal person would throw it away. I save them sometimes until I really get fed up and I'm like, why am I keeping this brush? I have 100 brushes. Throw it away. But when your brush is wet and you want it to come together, this is a medium round. I'm not giving you brush numbers. If you look, if you have brushes, this is a Papillon. Artist Club closed. Artist Club went out of business. It was such a great, great venue and website, but they closed. And they had these brushes on clearance before they closed. So my point is, this is a Papillon Artist Club number 10. Brushes, just for so you guys know, this is number 10. That's a 12. I don't know. I'd have to look and find another number 10. But anyway, brush numbers are not uniform across the board. Brush numbers are not like pounds and inches and kilograms. It is not a unified, universal form of measurement. This could be a 10 in Artist Club, and then this could be a 10 in Michael's. So they're not really numbered. I just go by small, medium, large. You kind of get used to it. When I recommend a canvas size, I recommend a brush size, and I go by inches. Like this is like an inch and a half flat. This is more like I had it over here, a 1 inch flat. And so I go by that. Okay. But anyway, you guys want to see me paint, correct? So I am going to scratch my eye. I'm going to use my round brush and I'm going to start loading it into the red paint. And I'm just dabbing because I want to get paint up into the bristles. Okay? And now I'm going to paint blobs. Yes, I said blobs. I said blobs. Let me go this way. Okay. So we are going to do one blob over here. And I'm literally, can you see that? I guess you sort of can. I'm literally using short strokes. Get some more paint. I want an uneven background. And I'm just painting in a circle, an awkward circle, a circle that doesn't have defined edges to it. All right. And I'm going to fill that all in. So that is the base coat of our first rose. All right, now I'm going to get some more red paint. And I'm following this up here as best I can, even though that one only has the 3 sections and I have 5 sections. We're going to make it work. Okay? You probably, if you're painting with me, you're going to paint after. You probably will have 3 sections. And when I say sections, I mean the sections of your umbrella. Okay. And that is the second blob for our second rose. And again, these, when we paint in layers from the bottom up. We build like this up. All right. I'm going to put another one up here. And right now, they're going to look like they're floating. That's okay. We're just putting them out there. They're going to look like they're floating. You want to be okay with that. We're going to come back in. We're going to add leaves. We're going to add filler flowers. So it's okay if right now your flowers look like they're just hanging out. Okay? We will anchor them to the art and the design. If you are going to paint this on your own after you've watched the 3 days of Paint Big, you want to make sure that you're banging into this. You want to make sure that your umbrella is completely dry. Okay, you want your umbrella to be dry. If you have a heat gun, you go get a cup of coffee, you dry it with a hair dryer, whatever it is. You want your umbrella to be dry before you start layering on the flowers. Okay, and then we're going to put one up here. And see, they are a round-ish shape, but they're not circles, okay? They have uneven edges. I'm adding a little bit extra red in here so I can cover up the line from my umbrella. I might make this one a little bit bigger out here. Okay, and I'm going to wash my brush. Now I'm going to go into my white. me grab a paper towel. I'm going to go into my white. That's what I should have here. 1 second. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper from over here. I've been tripping over scrap paper for 2 days. Now I don't know what I did with it. Isn't that always the way? You want to straighten up and then you don't know where you put stuff. So I just got out a little copy paper. I'm going to put here. Okay, so I've cleaned my brush. And now I'm going to pick up some white again. I don't want to contaminate or muddy up my whole white. I'm coming over here to the side. I'm giving a little taps on my brush. I'm rolling it. Rolling. Is my email? Let me see if I can close my email so it stops going bing, 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 bing. Mail. Oh, I'm looking at a deer right now. Fluffy deer with her winter coat. Okay, sorry. All right. So we want to tap. Tap, 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 tap. Okay? Get some paint in there. And then I'm going to get paint. And now I'm going to paint comma strokes, C strokes, parentheses, however you need to think of it in your mind. That's what we're doing. So smiley faces, frowny faces. Some are going to scoop under, some are going to scoop above, some are going to go to the left, some are going to go to the right. I don't even know if that was the right way. Okay? We're going to start. I'll start with this one, and we're going to start in the middle, and we're just going to put a little set of parentheses, 2 C's facing each other. All right? And now I'm just going to start working from the inside out. I'm picking up a little bit of red because my red is wet. You want that. So now we're having red, we're having light pink, we're having dark pink. They're overlapping. Okay, pick up a little bit more paint. And we don't want to cover up all the dark red, but we do want to add in this white and this pink. And now we have a nice variation going of reds and pinks and white. Okay, and move on to the second one. Start in the center with a matching pair of parentheses. They're a little tilted, but it's still a matching pair of parentheses. One way, one the other way, and then work our way to the outside. They can overlap. Some are bigger, some are smaller. You can go outside the line. You can make your flower bigger now. A lot of color variation going on in there. Pink, red, white, different variations of pink. I am going to wipe off my brush because it started getting a little muddied and I want to get as white as possible, but I'm just wiping it off. I'm not washing it. I'm just going to go back into my white now and we're going to move on. So got my parentheses in there. And again, just some comma strokes. Some are big. Some are long. Some are short. Some come to the very outside. And need more white paint. If we come back later and evaluate and want to add some nice fresh white to our dried flowers, we can do that. Okay? Right now, we're not going to worry about that because it's just going to, if you want to have fresh white, you need to be patient, wait for it to dry. Otherwise, you want to blend, you want it to be wet. And we want blending now, so we want it wet. But later on, we might come back when it's dry so we can add some nice bright white. Okay? And again, a set of parentheses in the middle, and then my comma, C strokes, parentheses, smiley faces, frowny faces, whatever you want to call it, whatever you need to say in your head, is up to you. This painting is inspired by Tracy Kiernan Painting. I am in her membership. She's a wonderful, beautiful decorative artist. And you can get the supply list and the tracer. The link is above. Okay, I finished my roses. I'm going to wash my brush. Also, if you're watching from YouTube, hey YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Listen you guys, there are over 1,000 videos. Some of them aren't this high quality. I digress. I'm kidding, you guys. Look. You liking my shirt? Yeah, there are over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, you should. Many of them are literally step by step like this to help you create a little joy in your life through some art. Okay? I want to help. I feel good when I paint. I feel good. I'm not thinking about negativity. I'm not thinking about the builds. I'm not thinking about the cold, even though I can see the snow. When I'm in my space, and I don't mean this space, because not everybody has this space. I understand that. A lot of people, maybe you have to paint in your garage or your basement and there's no windows. Or you paint at your kitchen table and your stuff is in disarray, and when you want to have a meal, you have to shove it all the way to the side. Whatever it is, I don't mean physical space. I mean this space. When I paint or color, or let me see, let me get one, or collage. How cute is that? This is ripped paper, you guys. It just quiets the noise. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to be born with the art gene. You don't have to have an MFA, Master's in Fine Art. I certainly don't. I did not start painting until I was in my 40s, and I'm way older than that now. So when I talk about being in my space when I'm painting, I mean this space, okay? So now we're going to move on to some little kind of lilac-y. These are abstract. Nobody's going to come, no botanist is going to come and say, oh my God, those are not really roses. No, don't worry about that. You want to feel good when you paint. There's no art police. You just do you. So now I'm going to do like these spriggies, okay? I'm going to load my brush with this beautiful purple pizzazz. It's a very dark purple, and I love it. Happy color. And then I'm going to pick up some white on the same brush. So now if you see, I'm twisting my brush. I have purple and white on there, all right? And I'm going to start painting in these sprigs for a pop of purple. And these, should I start on this side? No, I'll start on this side. These sprigs are basically you swishing the brush, okay? And working your way up. So smush, smush, smush. I'm going to pick up a little bit more purple. I'm just smushing my round brush a little bit out to the side and down. I'm coming up here. I want to give a little bit of height to my basket or my umbrella full of flowers. Okay? I have a cheat sheet here so I know where to place things while I'm doing this. All right? Then we're going to do one down off of here. Again, smushing my brush. I'm literally taking my brush and smushing it on the canvas. Okay? And again, this is all background. We're going to come back in with filler flowers. We're going to back in with leaves and filler leaves. And it's all going to come together. We don't judge our art. I know you guys probably want to say, shut up and just paint. We don't judge our art as we paint. We judge our art. We don't judge our art at all. But we have to evaluate it sometimes. But you need to wait to the end to do that. You can't be scrutinizing every little thing. Oh, I don't like how that sprig came out. At this point in the game, it doesn't matter. We have so much more going on. We're not going to fixate on maybe something there, the circle's wonky, whatever it is. We're not going to fixate on that. We're going to keep going. It's acrylic paint. You can fix anything. Okay? So then I'm going to add one up here, like it's up and behind. Get a little bit of white. This rose. Sometimes I like to go as high as I'm going to go and then come back in and fill it in. This way, that petal right there stops me. I know I don't want to be higher than that. And there we go. Okay? Then we're going to put one out here. This is going to be upside down. So I'm going to come up here. That's my highest one. And then I'm going to come in and pounce these in. Mixture of purple and white on my brush. It's all right if you can see the background through it because we're going to be adding more. And flowers, you can see the background through. They don't have to be completely and fully opaque. All right. And do I have another one of those for now? We can do one. I'm going to do one going down this way. So it's going to go to about there. Again, pick a little purple, a little white, and now I'm smushing. Oh, one thing I forgot to do that I'm going to go back and do now. And I'm smushing. You want a little bit tapered on the end, narrower at the base, and narrower at the point. Okay. One thing I've got to do, we want to add a little reflection. You have to trust the process. Yes, you do. You definitely have to trust the process. I'm going to add a little reflection. I have purple on my brush right now. I'm going to come down here and squat. And I'm just adding in a little bit. Let me get a little bit more purple. Oh, a little bit of purple down here. And I forgot to do the yellow and the red, and I will do that. But for now, I'm just going to, oh, this is why I got this scratch paper. I'm trying to get in the habit of wiping my brush off before I go into my water. So this way, my water doesn't get totally muddied up. I hardly ever change my water. A lot of times I know new painters, oh, my water's dirty, my water's dirty. Your water shouldn't really matter because once you rinse your brush and dry it off, you're good to go. But I am going to be starting to use scratch paper. This way I can just wipe off the bulk of the paint. Okay? So before we move on to the rest of the flowers, I am going to pick up a little bit of this red on my brush. I'm going to come down here and very lightly add in a little reflection of the red, and then I picked up some white and I added some white, so I just add a little bit of pink to that as well. Let me wipe off my brush and clean my brush. All right, now we're going to move on to these pretty white 5-petal flowers. So see, I did not contaminate my white. If you need fresh white, you can get out fresh white, but I have all this clean white over here to work in, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to load my round brush. These flowers, these flower petals, they look like leaves or little football shapes. And there's going to be 5 of them. They come out looking almost like gingerbread. 1, 2, 2. Oh, that makes no sense, but we're going to paint it. I'm going to show you. So we're going to come up here. And Again, with the parentheses and the C stroke or whatever it is, I'm doing two like this, almost like a football shape, and that's a petal. Then I'm going to come to the right. Then I'm going to come to the left. Then I'm going to do the legs. This is when I said it looks like a gingerbread. And the other leg. 5 petals. 5 petals look like little footballs or leaves. They're tapered on the ends and they come together. And sometimes I think of it as head, arm, leg, leg. Okay? And we're going to add some of these in the background now. So there's the head. There's one arm. There's 2 arms. Out to the side, a little bit of a diagonal. And then out to the side, a little bit of a diagonal. I'm just coming in here and going over them a little bit because I want them to be nice bright white, and so they need a little bit of a second coat. Okay? Then I'm going to do one over here. And I'm just doing parentheses or a smiley face or a comma stroke, an apostrophe, whatever it is, and they go in opposite directions. And then they meet. And you fill it in. Use a little bit more white and fill it in. Okay? And now we have our white flowers in there. I'm going to put out a little bit of my yellows now. I'm going to do these. I don't want to call them poppies. They're shaped like poppies, but they're going to be orange because we already have our red roses. So I'm going to put out my bright yellow and my marigold that I used for the umbrella. I'm not even going to clean my brush. I'm going to pick up some red and pick up some marigold. And I'm going to start making like this soft orange color. Maybe I'll pick up a little bit of the bright yellow. If you have orange and you want to use orange, that's okay. I only just started, literally, I've been painting for 18 years. I only literally just started mixing paint the past year. That's why I have that wall over there and more paint here, every color imaginable. But now I've started mixing paint, but that comes. I don't want to stress about mixing or stress about brush sizes. I want you to just have fun. So literally, I just started mixing colors this year, totally. Okay, so now we're going to add these big sort of poppy flowers. They're 4 petals. We're going to put one up here. The petals are a little bit more squared off on the top. All right. If you are more comfortable, you can draw these in first with chalk. Obviously, I just went for it. So there's one. Okay, maybe make this part a little bit taller here. Okay, there's one. And I think we're going to do another one here. So these are flat, roundish across the top. any more paint. And then they taper into the center where they meet. See, I just mixed that and it became way too dark. So I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow to that. There we go. Okay, it's okay to have your flowers overlap. And then while I have this on my brush, I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to add this orange now down here to the reflection. This is a rainy day painting. Presumably the ground is wet and we have all this reflection from our painting and our flowers into the wet ground. Okay, so those are those two. I'm going to wipe off my brush on my scratch paper. And then I'm going to rinse. Okay, now we're going to add a yellow rose. And these roses, the technique I used for the roses to begin with, you can make those any colors you want. Any colors you want. Again, no art police. Nobody's going to come down on you and be like, flowers aren't that color. No, it's art. It's okay. Tell them I said it's okay. It's okay. You use the colors that make you happy, that you like to use. Oh, and by the way, talking about being made happy, we're giving away this bag. Gift away. 4 bottles of paint, a set of brushes, and a stencil in here. So if you're watching now or on the replay, put paint big in the comments if you haven't already. And you'll be entered into the drawing. We're going to pick the winner tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, now we're going to put in a big yellow rose. Where do I want to put? I might put 2 yellow roses. All right, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of both yellows. And I'm going to do the same thing we did with the orange, with the red before. Both yellows, and I'm just painting in a blob here. And now I'm digressing a little bit from the sample because I needed something in this space, but you don't have to. So we add a little bit of white to that so I get better coverage. All right. So we're going to put one there. And then I think I'm going to put one up here. And again, like I said, your flowers can, in fact, overlap. And this is just a combination of the marigold or the dark yellow I used and the bright yellow. Okay, I'll wipe off my brush. Do you have this shirt for sale? I like your logo and wording on the back. Thank you, Carol. I don't, but that is a really good idea. I could. So I have these shirts I do have for sale, but they don't have the wording on the back because I added that. I was at a paint retreat last summer and they were letting us try out these prints and these heat presses, and they had all these free iron-ons that you could try. And that's the iron-on I picked. I had this shirt with me. I grabbed it from my duffel bag, and that was the free iron-on I picked that said, I'm not perfect. But I should put these in my store. You're absolutely right. So I do have my logo shirts, and thank you. This is my favorite thing. And when I first started out, I felt like, I don't know if anybody knows the meaning of a lighthouse. The lighthouse was there to help the sailors and the ships or whatever in a storm, in the cold, in the dark. in the stormy weather. The lighthouse was a beacon. Um, it gave you direction. It helped you find your way home, find yourself to safety. And I've always loved lighthouses, and that's why I picked it um, for my logo, because I wanted to be a beacon. I wanted to help people out there who maybe are struggling, are swamped, um, busy moms, busy wives, wearing all the hats, dads too. I know there's dads that do too. Everybody, people out there who are struggling, whether it's grief or depression or just bogged down with LIFE. And so I picked the lighthouse because I felt I want to make a warm and inviting place for people to come to watch, chill, have a cup of tea, or in fact learn to paint and not stress about it. Get some confidence in your art, get some confidence in your creativity, and definitely not stress about it. So that's a great idea. I'm going to add the back. I'm going to put that on my list. Thank you, Carol. And it's so nice to see you here. Thank you. Thank you. I always so much appreciate your following me, your engagement, your support. Okay. Now I'm going to put out some green. And on my palette, I have all the colors that we've used already. All right. 1 second. I have to step back. I'm going to evaluate. All right. A lot of empty space. That's okay. Here I felt like it was too much empty space, and then it would have been too much green, so I added the flower. Oh, I'm putting my brush in my hand. I might put something here. What should I put here? Another sprig of purple, maybe. Let me see. What should I put there? Let me see. Yeah, I think I may put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I don't want to put another sprig of purple. Maybe I'll put one of these, but smaller. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one of those, but a little bit smaller. So I'm just mixing up a little batch of white. A little batch of this orange, red, yellow, white. And I'm just going to put one of these down here. Painting in a little bit of a awkward angle. I don't want it to cover up my rose. It can cover up my part of my white flower. That's okay. There we go. All right. Now, before we move on to our greenery, I want to add all the centers to my flowers so they're where they belong, right? And this is pretty easy. So I'm going to use the back of my brush handle. I'm going to dip it in whatever yellow I have going on here, the dark, the light, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to add in, just with the back of my brush, a bunch of little yellow clusters to the center of my white flowers. It doesn't matter if you use the dark yellow or the light yellow, whatever you have on your palette. Doesn't that just totally make a difference? Adding in the centers of flowers is so rewarding. Do you have a peach colored flower? I guess I could make it a little bit peachier. Those are a little bit dark, but they are in the orange family. So maybe I can add in a couple of little peachy flowers. I know what I'm going to do. I'll add in some peachy flowers for you, Carol. Let me do I didn't finish my yellow roses. Silly me. Anyway, let me finish my centers. Let me get a little bit of black. I try and stay on track, and then I get all, of course. All right. In my poppy looking ones, I'm going to put a big squash, and a big squash. Then I am going to take the back of my brush and I'm going to dip around my squash. And when I say squash, I squash my brush. And I'm going to make like a ring of little dots around the squash in the middle. Okay? Then I'm also going to add little red dippity dot centers to my roses. I'm using the back of the brush and I'm just dipping them in. You want it random and clustered. Okay? And then, before we move on, I'm going to wash my brush. We've got to finish our yellow flowers up here. Got off on a tangent and didn't finish. All right, I'm going to pick up some fresh white. Just the way we did our roses. Comma stroke, meeting in the middle. One on the left, one on the right. And then getting bigger as we go around. Now these got to dry a little bit more, which is good and bad. It's good because now my white is really popping. It's bad because I don't have as much blending going on, but I do in fact still have some blending. So if I wanted to go back and add yellow, I could. All right, again, these two strokes meet in the middle, and then starting from the middle and working my way out, I'm adding in these comma strokes, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow. Yeah, this one dried way too much, so I just picked up a little bit of yellow on my white brush, and I'm adding it in here. Okay, and again, I'm going to tap the back of my brush with the black, and I'm going to add centers to my yellow roses. Okay. And I'm going to wipe off my brush. I have this beautiful peach color. It's called Fire Coral. It's one of my favorite colors. This is a plaid folk art color, but it's one of my favorite colors. I'm going to add it to my palette. It is not on the supply list. It's like a peachy pink color. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Clean my brush. I'm going to load my brush. Look how pretty that color is. And I think it's going to go really well. And I'm just going to add a few of these, almost like daisy flowers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go back in and fill in. Okay, you can do them like a clock if you want. 12, 6, 3, 9, and then 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11. And then 1, I think we'll just do it here. 12, 6, 3, and if you wonder why I'm counting all crazy, I'm doing a clock. 12, 6, 3, 9, and then filling in 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And in the middle of those, I'm going to tap in the purple with my brush. This is bringing in this purple color that we've been using. Okay, and back to my scratch paper. I mean, really, when I get done with this, this is going to be a beautiful paper in and of itself. All right, I'm going to wash my brush. Okay, now we're going to get to filling in all the leaves and the greenery. And this is where it's just going to start to like really come together. All right. I have out green. I still have, let me put a little bit more yellow on my palette. Let me put a little bit of fresh white on my palette. Okay. I have one green, but we're going to mix it with the yellow. We're going to mix it with the white. And then we're going to mix it a little bit with the purple too. Shh, don't tell anybody. And I said purple. Okay. So I'm loading my brush with the green. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. And we are going to start adding in some leaves. Okay. This is just a simple leaf. It's coming out from behind the rose. Honestly, I have a little too much white in there. So I'm going to pick up more green and put it in there. Okay. I'm going to add another leaf here. Again, these leaves are the same stroke we were using for inside our flowers. And for these flowers, it's just opposite comma strokes, left, right. These are tucked behind, so they're not going all the way to the point on the bottom. Presumably, this leaf is tucked up underneath, and that's where the other pointy part of it is. Okay, and I'm just going to start adding in these big filler leaves. Maybe I'll add a little yellow to my brush. To mix it up a little bit. So now I have the green on my brush. I added a little bit of yellow to it to get a different variation of my green. Okay? Let me fix that. And I'm just going to start adding in some leaves where I think I need big leaves. And then we're going to add in little filler leaves. Let's do one up here. Like sprigs. And this, you want to put these big leaves in empty spots. We could try and follow this exactly. We're not machines. We can't do anything exactly, okay? So I'm just looking in here, and I'm looking for wide open spaces. I'm looking for wide open spaces where I could come in and just add in some of these big leaves. And this, you can see that black line through. So I'm going to go over it a little bit with the dark green. Okay? And I have to step back because I have to keep evaluating what I have going on here. Okay. Now we may add more big leaves. I don't know. But for now, we're going to add some sprigs. All right. So I'm going to come down here with a vine, and then I'm going to smush my brush in a diagonal shape to the vine to get these leaves. Okay. So again, I put a little sprig there. I'm going to put a little sprig here. I do a curved line, and then I'm just smushing my brush on a diagonal and attaching it to the stem. Okay. A little green and some yellow. Maybe we'll put one up in here. And again, I'm just moving from left to right and smushing my brush to the stem, smush and lift, and putting in these little filler bunches of leaves. Come back up here, we'll put one here. I picked up a little bit extra yellow on this one. I'm just trying to mix up my green, and I'm literally just pushing. Let me see if I can show you on the plate. I'm just pushing down on my round brush, and that's how I'm making the petals. Let's see. I'm going to put, maybe we'll put something up here. And I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. So now I'm just not smushing. I'm actually adding in some of the leaves like that, the big leaves, but this time onto the stem and onto a diagonal. Okay. Do the same thing down here. Little football shapes. Let me get a little bit more yellow. Little football shapes. And pulling the leaves to the side. And you can go back, add a little highlight to this one up here, add a little bit more highlight to that one. Just giving a little bit of dimension. Okay, I have the green on my brush. I'm going to come down and do the green reflection. I didn't do any yellow reflection. I have to remind me to do yellow reflection, you guys. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need another one. When we do flower arrangements, you want to have things in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. It doesn't always work out that way, but the statement ones you really want to have in odd numbers. So we have 2 down. Let's do one up here. And again, I'm just smushing my brush into the stem. I missed one there. There we go. Now I'm going to take a little bit of purple, just a little. I'm going to mix it with the green. And I'm going to get like I don't know. It's still a purple. It's still a green. It's like a deep color. It will make nice background leaves. And it's bringing the purple into it. So I'm just going to do one here. And I'm going to try not to push as hard. So these are a little bit smaller. I'm going to do one up here. Let me get a little bit purple on there. Okay, it's just bringing the purple in a different way. And I did that by adding a little bit of purple to my green. Do one here. And then maybe, I think that's good. We're going to leave that. And I'm going to clean my brush off on my scrappy paper. All right, so we have all this filler flower going in, all the greenery going in, and now I'm going to show you how we're going to literally just dip in some color. So I'm going to pick up some green. I'm going to pick up some white. I have green and white on my brush. Now we're just going to go in and we're going to fill in the background with just little dips and taps of our brush every which way, just to make it look like there's filler back there. So wherever you see some white or your background, and you don't think there should be background because you want it to be floral, or you think it should be floral back there, we're just dipping in. We don't even have to do that much. Dipping in and covering up the white, or actually the blue background. Just tapping in, tap, tap, tapping. And I need a good view for this. Move this. And I think that's good. I think that's good, you guys. Oh my God, it's lovely. Wipe off my brush. Okay, a couple of more finishing touches and we will be good to go. Don't forget to put paint big in the comments. If you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay, please. And we're going to do the drawing at 7 p.m. tonight right here on the page. So anybody who put paint big in, I need some red, in the comments, you will be entered into the drawing to win that, can you see it? That bag of art supplies. 4 bottles of paint, a set of paint brushes from Plaid, and a stencil from Plaid. The paint is Deco Art Americana paint. I forget the colors. A paintbrush set and a stencil. Okay, I put out a little bit of red. A couple of things. I'm going to come in here to these flowers, and I'm just going to pull in a little red with the tip of my brush and a soft stroke, just to give these flowers more dimension. They were a little flat. It's okay, I can say it. Add yellow. Yes, Debbie, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just adding in a little bit of these red. This one might be a little hard, but these are looking a little flat. So I'm using the tip of my brush, very soft strokes, and just adding in a little bit of red to that. I'm also going to take the back of my brush and I'm going to tap in a little bit of white in the centers of these peach flowers I added. All right. I'm going to take, I want to wipe my brush. I'm going to wipe my brush off. It has red on it. I'm wiping it off a little bit. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add a little bit of the red, almost dry, reflection off the umbrella, from like the red flowers onto the umbrella. Okay? And wash my brush. Thank you, Deb. I would have forgot. I would have been like, bye. All right. I'm going to do the same thing here with the peach. Almost dry brushing. You're not going to be able to see it so much. And I'm going to just paint in here. My brush is practically dry. You may not be able to see it, but I'm just putting in a reflection from the peach flower and the red flower. And I'm going to pick up some white, wipe it off, and do the same thing here with the white flower. Okay. Then I'm going to pick up some yellow. Thank you, Debbie. Pick up some yellow and come down here and add yellow. I need fresh yellow. My yellow got contaminated. A little bit of yellow. And this I'm going to even add over to this side. Very light strokes. Very light. Maybe even, I picked up a little bit of white on my yellow brush. And I'm coming in here with that as well. A little bit of white. My brush was dirty. And that's all, folks. Need my brush, put this over here. And so, voila. Beautiful. Thank you for your tips and teaching time as well. Thank you, Debbie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. This is the finished design. I think I'm in love. I think it's going to go up in my living room. If you want the tracer and the supply list, it's up there in the comments. Thank you guys for joining me on this probably very frigid, cold Friday morning. It was nice to see you. You do not have, okay, I would love for you guys to be back at 7 to support me on my live. You do not have to be here for the gift away at 7. I will pull a name and I will message you and tag you if you are the lucky winner. Thanks, guys, and you have